I was first introduced to the Z1 as an apprentice back when I was about 18 years old, and I was working for Laurie Summers in those days, who happened to be the Kawasaki importer. And I got the job of assembling all the bikes as they come in from Japan. They're in a big crate, and we had to rip into them and pull them all apart and get them ready and send them out the door. And you know, these were in the days when they had the old H2s, the old triple cylinder, you know, killers as they call them. And during this time, the Z1 was actually introduced, and I got the honour of assembling the first one that came into New Zealand. And from there on in, I've always had this affinity with Kawasaki, not only as a brand, but also the actual superbike, because I consider it to be probably the best and first of the real superbikes. And I've followed the lineage all the way through. That's really where it all started for me, is to try and keep that all together under one kind of image, I suppose. The thing that I liked about the Z1 was the fact that it was a completely different kind of movement, engineering-wise, from what was typically the high-performance bikes in those days, which were the two-strokes, the GT750s, all those high-powered smoking things that caused all sorts of drama and killed lots of people. But really, when you look at the engineering feat that Kawasaki did when they introduced the 900, was that over a very, very short period of time they've gone from a 2-valve to a 4-valve to a twin cam, from a 750 to a 900, and introduced this magnificent machine along with all the technical innovations that we hadn't seen before. And that was the thing that struck me, how a relatively small company as far as the major manufacturers in Japan were able to come out and engineer these things. It was just fascinating, and it just lifted the whole level. But for $2,300 you could drive out with this brand new 900, and I remember at the time thinking, God, it was a lot of money. But I look back now, and you can't buy one for probably 30 or 40 grand nowadays. So over that long period of time, they've actually evolved from the early Z1 to the Z1A, the Z1B, the Z900, Z1000, Z1R, and so forth. So what it actually represents is sort of an iconic model that doesn't get reintroduced all that many times without history behind it. And it's one of the only probable motorcycles that I know that have been kind of updated and kind of restyled, but still retain that Z1 stylisation. That's the thing that I like about it.